So, testing UI. That's actually a quite cool thing to do. So basically, the best thing for this, we might even do it a little bit, is Android actually has a UI test recorder. So you can, like a macro recorder in Excel, you can use a test recorder in Android Studio to record what they call espresso tests. So the menu item is called record espresso test. So you need to have a device, an emulator or a real phone to make this work. So, and then you can start, so basically what you can do there is basically go through an action in your UI, with the UI, and then it writes out your Java or Kotlin code that basically can be used to replay that interaction. So it's based upon the view IDs that you have in your layout files, and it uses the accessibility framework as well to inspect stuff. So it does all kind of, say, if it was not a testing framework, you really wouldn't want another program to be able to do that, because it basically can see everything on the screen in a structured way. Because as soon as you go and look at pixels, it becomes a nightmare for testing. So what you can do is you can generate events, you can create matchers and stuff like that. With custom views, I'm not sure how well that works. Possibly you might need to go into actually doing accessibility delegates and stuff like that. You probably don't want to go in there for your assignment. So they're basically, if you have a custom view that has multiple separate click points, you need to tell the accessibility framework, if you want to support accessibility, what the click targets actually are and where they are. Because people who cannot touch the screen might need to use arrows, keys, or have different ways of navigating through them. They might have a way of navigating by voice. So the accessibility framework allows you to provide that information to Android, but we don't really go in there. Last year I had to figure it out because I had a blind student. Like, for him, touching a particular point on the screen, this does not work. So you need to say, okay, there is this line, it's at this corner, that is drawn or not drawn, or something like that. So, and the hard bit for me is like, what is the right way of describing this, that a blind person can get an understanding of this? A challenge. Yeah, there is text-to-speech in there, but it needs to have information about what it needs to speak.
Yeah, so it would read and look at what's on the screen. Let's say there's this thing,
yeah, no, it's to be able to look on the screen, it needs, when you start at pixel level, that's not good. So if we do on draw, it draws pixels. It doesn't give you meaning of what it doesn't even work. Like if you say draw a circle, the accessibility framework doesn't know that there's a circle. That is still too low level. So what you need to do is there's here this element on the UI, it's between these coordinates, and it has this meaning, and then it has this state. So it represents this particular text. So you can literally just say there's this bit here that has this particular textual content description, and then the text-to-speech will pick up and actually speak to the blind person what is there on the screen. But you as a programmer need to provide that information. But the espresso test then would be able to use that as well, although they don't need it as detailed. So basically you get out some Java code. I haven't made a screenshot of what that looks like. But this one it's quite cool to play around. It will just create you a test. So when you look at Android, one thing you can see here is like there's Android test and there's I think Android connected test. So it puts it in the Android connected test folder. So Android test is a way of testing your Android code without real UI. So what it does, it provides you a mock Android library, and all the Android it doesn't provide any implementation. So if you call any of the Android UI code, it will just crash. your test. Oh, that test is not valid because it's called Android code. So it allows you to test your business logic, but not the rest of your application. So a connected test, it actually connects to a device or an emulator that actually implements the Android framework. That one does. So you can test everything, but it's much slower and brittle. But it will create a test and you can run that. So do that with your own application. Just start, okay, if I press this button, can I record it? Can I replay that? It's quite cool. And then you can also put in variables and stuff like that. So to create just regular Android code with the right ways of getting this particular UI control. So yeah, they call matchers. So they match, basically, when you have an activity or fragment on the thing, you want to kind of test things on there. You want to match. So you want to say, okay, the edit text, what is the text on there? If I have the edit text and then I go finish the thing, press finish on my, say, what's your name dialog or something like that, then the same name needs to end up in this was your name text view on the other activity, like your basic, your hello world exercise. So those matchers, they tend to be a little bit, because they don't know actually what is the best way of matching things. So they can be a little bit either over or under specific. So you might want to work around that a little bit to review it. But it's a good starting point for testing UI without having to know exactly how do I find my controls, etc. And it works well with the hardware acceleration of the thing that makes it work better as well.